What is up, friends? Tuning in from a very cold day so far, but we just got our workout in. We are talking about our fourth reason, common barriers to women obtaining that long-term sustainable lifestyle change. Today we are talking about a huge one for women, guys. We are talking about the identity and self-belief gaps that we hold upon ourselves, hold over our heads. So what does that mean? It's when we're trying to achieve habits that are not aligning with our self-identity. And another way I like to put this is us speaking good things over ourselves, good intentions, good thoughts, good goals, confidence, being confident enough to say, I am going to achieve that healthier lifestyle, a healthier version of me, rather than I'm going to try to achieve a healthier life. The difference in those two sentences is huge, guys. As women, it is very obvious. Many of us are very hard on ourselves. We have a lot on our plates. We have a lot of things that we are juggling. Most of the time it's putting our spouses, our friends, our kids above our own needs. And sometimes those things are valid, guys. Sometimes it's necessary to put other people's needs above our own. But at the end of the day, we have to be able to take care of ourselves. And that starts with speaking kindly to ourselves and speaking it into existence, the identity that we are and that we are trying to obtain in regards to the health and wellness space. There are a bunch of other gaps and areas that we could talk about, but from a personal trainer perspective, we're focusing on the health and wellness side of things because your inner and outer health and wellness is of the utmost importance. So, common reasons why we have these gaps is being overwhelmed, and it kind of aligns with other barriers that we've talked about in previous videos. You know, the all or nothing mindset, the act of having discipline, the accountability, the being radically honest with where you're at and how we're going to get to our current goals in the long run. So, what are some ways that we can improve on this? Again, being honest with where are you at currently? And how are you speaking to yourself currently, friend? Are you taking care of yourself internally as well? If your thoughts are constantly of anxious deceit, are they of constant criticism of other people? Are you focusing so much more on what she is doing, that person that you follow on social media, that friend, that family member, that person that isn't making you a better person? Are you focusing your mindset on reasons why your spouse, partner, etc., your kids are driving you nuts? Are you harboring a lot of negativity towards your work? You know, there are so many different scenarios, but it's very important to be honest with where you're at currently and where your thoughts are going on a day-to-day basis. I find personally that if I start my day or end my day on my cell phone and I'm looking at comparing, etc., what other people are doing, that's not going to end my night on a good note, and that's not going to start my day off on a great note. And that shows in my physical actions and state, as well as my internal state. Because we as women, again, we have a lot on our plates, and that is very valid. No matter where you're at viewing this video from, I can assure you I cannot begin to understand your current situation. But I can speak for most women on the burden that we feel on our shoulders on a day-to-day basis, and the importance of evaluating things that are within your control and things that are out of your control. And the things that are in your control in regards to your internal being, your thoughts, your emotions, how you go about your day-to-day and whatnot, are things that we can work to improve on. How we are speaking to our identity and our confidence. And just sitting with ourselves for a little bit, being able to just sit with yourself on where you're at currently. And being graceful with yourself, I think that's very important as women. But with grace comes conviction on ways you can improve. And if you pour into yourself more in your confidence, your identity, your self-belief, and being radically honest with that, you're going to be able to pour into other people more as well. So many trainers, you see the physical aesthetic, you see the physical goals, the weight loss, the physique transformation, the calories, the foods they're eating, their skin, whatever the comparison game may be. But most of them don't share what they had to go through internally to get themselves there. Do you think that that supermodel cares what most people say on a day-to-day basis? I mean, yes, of course there's hurtful comments, of course there's hurtful thoughts and intentions, guys, but they get it done, and they're doing the dang thing. That is a saying that I've really taken on this past year, is doing the dang thing. And do you think that they struggle with confidence and low self-esteem and stuff on occasion? Of course they do, guys. But it's also the idea of, we're on this earth for so long, and I really want to encourage you to think about what you can achieve and what goals you were blessed with and what God blessed you with internally to bless this world with, therefore. And even on my worst days, I understand I have an assignment and my time may be limited. I don't know, today may be my last day. You just have no idea. So why not believe in yourself? Why not believe in those goals that you have? Why not believe that you can achieve them? You're going to look silly sometimes. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to fall on your face a few times. There's going to be chitter chatter behind you. You think people are going to be standing behind you, patting you on the back. Nope. Most likely it's just going to be chitter chatter and bad intentions from other people. That's the reality of it. But you have to be your superhero. You have to be the one patting yourself on the back, encouraging others, encouraging yourself, pulling others up with you along the way, because most people aren't built that way. But I believe if you're into this series and you follow entrepreneurs, people who have done the dang thing in the long haul, the long-term lifestyle change, you're one of the people that wants more, not just for yourself, but for those around you in the next generation. The way that you speak to yourself is so important, friend. The way that you speak thoughts over yourself, others, your current goals, your long-term goals, your day-to-day habits, your oopsies, you could call them, and your little wins. The way that you react to those things, the way that you move forward on those things is so important. Yes, sometimes we take big L's. Yes, sometimes life happens and horrible things happen to us. And there is a time and a place. As always, I want to encourage you, I don't know your specific situation. I won't pretend to. But by golly, I believe that most of us have a lot of things that are within our control. We are blessed with a lot of resources, time, sometimes too much time, people around us, mentors, and this phone or laptop, tablet, etc. that you're viewing this video on. Choose your time wisely. I talk about social media in all of my videos, guys, and I think that it's an amazing tool, business, if we allow it, if we make the conscious decision for it to be a great tool and not a big old comparison game, not a big old ooh, poor me, or the what about me concept that's been coming out, guys, of looking at what other people are going through and comparing it to your own situation and making it about ourselves. That is going to contradict with that identity gap that we're talking about, your self-belief, guys. When you're constantly evaluating and comparing and criticizing, it is a onward loop for women. And while we are very hard on ourselves, many of us tend to be hard on other people, other women specifically. And that's the hard truth. That is what a lot of women don't like to talk about. While we are hard on ourselves, we are also very hard on other women. And competition and whatnot, health and wellness, entrepreneurship, that is healthy to an extent. But while we spend so much time hurt people, and when we constantly spend our time evaluating other people, and specifically on our phones and in person, discernment is one thing, and this could be a whole other video, but part of your self-belief and identity, I want to encourage you, while we're working on that for ourselves, you got to want that for other people too. Your intentions matter. The way you speak over other people, other women, matters. And as I've gotten a little bit older and wiser, as I've gone through a few things, your intentions matter in today's society. Because with magazines and now social media and it being plastered all over walls everywhere, women are very hard on ourselves, and we struggle with the comparison game a lot of times, guys, whether it's in our physique or idolizing somebody's lifestyle, etc. Really drawing that into, we kind of talked about this in a previous video, of it's okay to look at somebody from a competition standpoint and say, wow, she looks really good. I would love to look like her, but you're never going to look exactly like that supermodel, that person you look up to, that entrepreneur, etc. Your lifestyle is never going to line up with Kim Kardashian's. You're never going to look like Kim Kardashian. Hate to tell you. We could get into plastic surgery and all that stuff. But you could look like the best version of yourself, and that's a beautiful thing. Just because you are not that supermodel, celebrity, etc., does not mean that you are not beautiful yourself, friend. And while I do follow people that I look up to and that I can say, dang, she looks really good, that'd be really cool to look like that, I have the confidence over the years to understand that while I may never look like that person, I can strive to look like the best version of myself. I was created for a purpose. And I believe, this is going to sound weird, but I do believe that I was made in a beautiful image, in the image of God. And pulling that all together, guys, just woman to woman, thinking about where you're at and where you want to be, being realistic, but also being empowered. I mean, this is woman empowerment. To tell another woman that you may not look exactly like that person you look up to, but you can look like the best version of yourself. And I believe that you can. It's going to take work. It's going to take time. It's going to take discipline. It's going to take saying no. It's going to take a lot of boundaries with your phone, with who you're spending your time with what you're spending your time with, what you're consuming, what you're investing in, what you're not investing in. Making some people upset. And being radically honest with yourself on why you aren't where you are currently wanting to be. And while we have talked about things that we might not take so lightly in previous videos, I also want to send this encouraging message at the end of the day that you can do it. You can. But you have to be willing to look at all of the barriers keeping you from taking that one small, sustainable step today. And specifically for today, it's in regards to your identity, your self-belief, how you're talking to yourself, your little daily habits, how things are going up here and in here. Those things matter. And they're things that we don't like to talk about a lot as women. You know, with social media, it's commenting, liking, empowering over the web, leaving a passive-aggressive comment here or hitting the dislike button. It sounds crazy saying that out loud, but that's where we're at when it comes to communication with other people, per se. But how's your communication with yourself? Are you willing to, after a situation or something you didn't think you should have said, after evaluating that, something you regret doing, something you enjoy doing, something you did great for yourself, how are you talking to yourself during those things? Are you evaluating each day? I understand that a lot of people aren't built the same, but big picture, it is a skill set that you have to work on. I listen to some entrepreneurship podcasts that talks about this. It's a skill that you have to work on, to spend the intentional time to, whether it's writing out a to-do list, a gratitude list, I did great on these things today, I did not so great on these things today, writing those things out, speaking those things out, speaking them in your mind and thinking, how am I going to move forward from this? How can I move forward? How can I take a step back here? How can I better allocate my time, my resources? How can I better prioritize myself in this situation? Are you working on those things? I mean, you see these short TikTok videos, and I think that's a wonderful message when specifically women, they talk about how I became a millionaire and whatnot, and they talk about writing out a to-do list and speaking things, I forget the term for it, but pretty much speaking things into existence, like I am going to become a millionaire, I am going to buy this car, I am going to live in this house, I am going to be able to afford this, I am going to be able to do this, XYZ. And again, I believe that those things are important, but we also need to dig a little bit deeper into that self-belief and identity mindset on how are you currently. In those short videos, we don't really get to see into where they were at before that mindset. Whether you have kids, you're in the corporate world, you're running on E, you have the emotional and mental burnout like we talked about in our last video, guys. Whatever your situation may be, your identity and those self-belief gaps are huge to evaluate, because how you speak to yourself is going to determine whether or not you're going to be able to move forward, specifically from my personal trainer perspective in your health and wellness goals. So let's talk about this upcoming week. What are some things that we can do to better our self-belief and identity and moving forward in our health and wellness goals? We can think about, how are you waking up in the morning, and how are you allocating your time in regards to, can you confidently say you're doing everything that you can to reach your goals? For the most part, there are some small things that many of us can improve on, me included. When it comes to my self-belief and identity and confidence, yes, earlier I said I'm confident enough to say, while I may not look like Kim Kardashian, I have the confidence that I'm going to look like the best version of myself and take care of myself, etc., etc. But there are also things, as I've also stated, like ending my day with my phone or starting my day with my phone, or I've taken a step back and said, feeling a little bit more anxious today, feeling a little bit more on the edge, maybe got frustrated with my partner or my husband or just my husband. I don't have both. Let's just throw that in there. My son and whatnot, whatever the situation may be, I've taken a step back and I'm able to say, okay, I'm going to start with my devotional tomorrow. I need to get back on that. And then I will work on, my social media posts, etc., work things. And starting my day, ending my day, spending intentional time with my husband and my son. That's something I've been able to take on in this current season, is taking the intentional time to spend uninterrupted time, no phone, no screens, with my son before his nap or before bedtime. No screens, no distractions, me looking in his eyes, looking in my husband's eyes, speaking kind words over them, affirmation, you are smart, you're growing so fast, thank you for everything. There's a tornado siren, I apologize if you guys hear that. And that's just something small, but that helps me in my own self-belief and my identity as a mom, as a spouse, as a friend, that I can confidently say, hey, I invested time in my relationships with my husband and my son, and that makes me a better mom, and that makes me a better person, a better human being. And that's just something small. For example, if you're a mom, that's something that you could look into, for example. Now, when it comes to health and wellness goals or the physique side of things, I had a baby last year, and it's no secret that women tend to lose their peach after having a baby. And that was a little bit hard on me. I'm happy with where I'm at. I was happy with where I was at, what my body did. Of course, it did an amazing thing, but that was a little hard for me to see. I worked really hard on my peach before. Where did it go? So what have I done? I've been able to take a step back, not necessarily be hard on myself, but be curious enough as I'm going through this for the first time and driven enough to say, I'm going to be building that peach back. May not look exactly like it did before having a baby, but by golly, hip thrusts, squats, heavy Romanian deadlifts, leg press, and doing the wide stance, narrow stance, supersets on that, guys, consistently twice a week. That is sustainable for me to do 2 glute workouts a week. And she's making a comeback. The peach is making a comeback. I am terrible. I am not so great at drinking fluids in general. And I chose to breastfeed when I immediately had my son, and that was a goal of mine. And obviously you need to be well hydrated to be able to breastfeed. So drinking water became a priority for me. Did I have to wake up to pee and, multiple times? Was that a little bit inconvenient? Of course it was. But I had a goal in mind, and I had the discipline to say, where do I want to be with this goal? And now I can look back and say, I was able to do the dang thing. And I take pride in that. And I'm able to have that self-belief and identity in not just being a mom, but being a breastfeeding mom, etc. And I know a lot of women will see this, and I know some women cannot breastfeed. Guys, I'm just giving examples here. When it comes to your food, it is no secret, and everybody can own up to this, that when we eat bad foods consistently, we're going to feel poorly consistently. So what are some food items that you can prioritize? Protein. You can prioritize time for meal prep. You can prioritize vegetables, fiber for women. It's so important for our hormones with our healthy fats and whatnot. And being able to fill in that self-belief gap of, I'm not going to just try to eat healthier. That's so vague. It's not going to work. Just like saying, I'm going to try to get healthy January 1st is not going to be helpful or sustainable. I am going to live a healthier lifestyle. I am a healthier version of me. I am somebody that can prioritize protein at every single meal. I am somebody that can drink at least 100 ounces of water a day. I am the woman that is going to wake up, put my makeup on, and get ready for the day, even though it's a dumpster fire of a house and I have multiple kids running around and I do not have my ish together. That self-identity talk, the self-belief talk, guys, it's so important in implementing those small sustainable steps to get yourselves there. So I ask that you look at those things this week. If you made it this far in this video, I really appreciate you and all of your guys' time. We have one final reason that we're going to be talking about in regards to common barriers in women's health and wellness, achieving that long-term sustainable lifestyle change. And I'm so excited to be doing this series with you, and I appreciate you guys' support. We'll see you next time.